Hey YouTube family, welcome back to Lady Shar Reacts. I'm Lady Shar. If you're new here or if you're returning and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. And obviously you clicked on this reaction video because you like True Facts and Z Frank 1. So go ahead and leave a like so that other people searching for reactions to Z Frank 1 True Facts can find my reactions. I appreciate it. It helps me. It helps the original video, and it only takes a second to click that little thumbs up. If you'd like to request another Z Frank 1 video, leave that in the comments, and also leave me a joke, just some little joke, and I will tell it on the next video I record if someone will leave me a joke. I've asked like 5 times, no one's left me a joke yet. Maybe I gotta start it off. Okay, how do you catch a unique rabbit? Don't know? Unique up on it. Do you know how to catch a tame rabbit? No? The tame way! Okay, that's my stupid joke. I loved that joke when I was a teenager. It cracked me up. But it did help that it was told to me by someone from Alabama who had a very strong accent. They said they were from LA, from Lower Alabama. And it was just hilarious. Anyway, are y'all ready? Like, comment, subscribe. Hashtag share the funny. Let's go.
Rainforests are the most biologically diverse places on Earth. Wildlife photographers David Weiler and Thomas Morant would know. They have traveled to rainforests around the world. Jerry, is that them? Oh, I see, they're the ones that took the pictures. Well, that makes more sense. Rainforests are host to more than half of all known species, which means they can be crowded as hell. It's like those apartment buildings that kids move into after college. Everyone has like 50 roommates, all of them with...
Okay, I love fuzzy little caterpillars that are around here, but a whole group of anything freaks me out. I don't know why that is. Like, one bug, one spider, one scorpion, I can usually deal with that. But a mass of anything like this just makes my skin crawl. So why am I staring at this picture, getting freaking cold chills in my skin trying to crawl off my body? Let's go.
Dietary restrictions, and there's always one that makes way too much noise in the morning. It's sort of like that, but in the rainforest, some of your roommates want to eat you. So if you want to live there, you have to figure out how to get not eaten. Perhaps the most straightforward way of avoiding a predator is to have a hidey hole. But if you don't have a hidey hole to hide in, the next best thing is to be able to hide in plain sight. To disappear through background matching, an animal's coloration is roughly what you would get if you took a random sampling of the colors and shapes in their background. This is a form of crypsis or camouflage and comes about from an evolutionary dance between predator and prey. If an individual winds up with a mutation that makes it harder for a predator to detect them, even when they're looking right at them, then they are more likely to make babies and pass the trait.
Okay, every once in a while I can see, like this one I can see the eyeballs here. This is the little leg. It's a little lizard. But holy free holies. Nature has the best camouflage. My husband and kids have bought all kinds of camo for when they go out hunting and stuff. But ain't none of it work as good as this stuff. This is some next level camouflage. It's like freaking Where's Waldo looking stuff. Okay, so I see some little spiny things coming out here and 2 eyeballs. That must be something. Maybe these are wings. I don't know. I don't know. These are so. Did you guys see them? Because I was missing all. I was trying to find what was hidden there.
Between predator and prey. If an individual winds up with a mutation that makes it harder for a predator to detect them, even when they're looking right at them, then they are more likely to make babies and pass the trait on to the next generation. Rinse and repeat. These sorts of adaptations,
because if they live, they can make babies. More babies.
are driven by what the predator can perceive. If your predator is colorblind, you can have little red speckles and still disappear on a gray background. If they don't see in high resolution, maybe your blotches can be a bit bigger. And likewise, creatures that we have a hard time seeing might pop out to predators who can see ultraviolet light. However, this strategy isn't perfect. Light and shadows can reveal your outline. Or that, right? I mean, sometimes you have to go, and that's good technique. He missed the guy behind him. They're free poopers. They know what they're doing. Anywho, instead... He missed the guy behind him. They're free poopers. They know what they're doing. Anywho, instead of disappearing by having a seemingly random array of speckles, animals that employ disruptive camouflage will often have neighboring patches of highly contrasting colors that would otherwise draw attention. Disruptive camouflage creates false edges that make it hard to see the true shape of an animal. And it's not just about color. Having extra body bits here and there can make it quite difficult to figure out what part of the animal you're looking at. Changes in coloration and shape can allow an animal to come into the foreground a bit instead of just blending into a background. In masquerade, even if an animal is spotted, it has evolved to be mistaken for something inanimate, something that wouldn't be on the predator's menu. Sticks and leaves seem to be quite popular. Listen, I'm sure it's not easy pretending to be a stick or a leaf, or the end of a log like a potu bird do. I'm just saying it doesn't feel that creative. It's like being a witch on Halloween. At least with bird poop, you know they're trying. The caterpillar of the king-page swallowtail is like next-level stuff. I mean...
His camouflage is to be bird poop. Oh my gosh.
Right down to the texture. Look at it. I know what you're thinking. My poop doesn't have little red antennas on it. Kind of screws up the whole costume. Here's the thing though. That's an organ called the osmeterium. It is everted. Think if you could turn your nostrils inside out, and it emits a terrible smell. I told you they're next level at this. But if poop isn't your thing, the monkey slug caterpillar is more of a think outside the box sort of pretender. From the bottom they look a bit like a tongue with a mullet, but when they are right side up, they appear to mimic what's left behind after a tarantula molts. Right down to the details, like the little holes where the legs come out. But if masquerade is about appearing as something uninteresting to a predator, what about pretending to be something downright unpleasant? In the rainforest, there are quite a few things that are very unpleasant for...
Okay, I know I'm just staring at this with my mouth open, but this is like fascinating and creepy and wonderful all at the same time. It's just... I just love these videos. I love nature. And I'm a country girl, so I love nature. I love birds and butterflies and dragonflies, and I don't like the flies and the gnats. But, you know, I like wildflowers. I like watching the trees bloom, all that stuff. And this stuff is just fascinating.
Like the little holes where the legs come out. But if masquerade is about appearing as something uninteresting to a predator, what about pretending to be something downright unpleasant? In the rainforest, there are quite a few things that are very unpleasant for predators to try and eat. Some have very visible defenses, like thorns and spikes. I'm sorry, it's hard to take this one seriously. Your Majesty. I take it back. However, other defenses are harder to see. Many species ingest or can create toxins that taste terrible and can make a predator very sick or even very dead. I know what you're thinking. Being toxic to a predator after it's already chewing on you is not that great of a defense. Joke's on you. I bet you puke up my lifeless body in 5 minutes. Burn. Google blue jay barfing butterfly. You'll see what I mean. But even if you end up becoming predator puke, your relatives and offspring might be spared if the predator learns to avoid things that look like you. This means that for animals that have toxins, there can be an evolutionary advantage in helping the predator to learn to avoid them. In some cases, this means an animal will do the opposite of hiding, displaying bright colors and making themselves very conspicuous. This is called aposematic coloration, basically an honest warning signal, one that can help the predator make the association. Now, what is interesting is that often 2 or more species that are toxic will evolve to look very much alike. For example, both the viceroy on the left and the monarch on the right are toxic to birds. Bees and wasps do this too. When 2 or more well-defended species share a warning signal, it is called Malarian Mimicry, after Fritz Muller, who is dead. This works from an evolutionary standpoint because sharing a warning signal means that you share the cost of educating predators. Each species loses fewer individuals to the learning process than if they went it alone. But
why does he keep showing these animals peeing and pooping? So watch this.
Loses fewer individuals to the learning process than if they went it alone. But if there are signals that cause predators to stay away, there is an opportunity to cheat. If you are delicious and quite safe to eat like this Katie did, there's an advantage to looking like a wasp that has a pointy butt. When a good-to-eat creature pretends that it's a dangerous or toxic one, it is called Batesian mimicry, after Henry Walter Bates, who is dead. This can involve both a look and a behavior. Some hawk-moth caterpillars are about as good at pretending to be a snake as you can imagine a caterpillar being. When threatened, it waves itself around like a dangerous third of a snake. But the yellow and black of pointy bee butts is one of the most recognizable warning signals of all. And that means there's a lot of fakers out there that don't have pointy butts like the bee do, but want in on the protection. Some beetles are okay at it, and the moths do it pretty well. But the winner of the bee and wasp cosplay goes to the hoverflies. They're all in. Hundreds of species of hoverflies mimic everything from yellow jackets to bumblebees to the skinny-waisted mud dauber wasps. You can see how all these fakers could really screw up the whole predator education thing. And if there's...
This is fascinating, but he threw the dog in there. I mean, I can't tell the difference from the wasps and the flies and the bees. And they do a really good job of mimicking each other.
How all these fakers could really screw up the whole predator education thing. And if there's too many mimics, then the predator can start to catch on and become more discerning. Some butterflies have an amazing way of making sure that they don't overplay their deceit. Papilio dardanus has been called the most interesting butterfly in the world. The other butterflies were like, whatever. The females are polymorphic, meaning
those other butterflies be hating. They be hating.
That a female will grow up to be one of over 14 different body forms or morphs. Here's a little sample. All of these are Papilio dardanus. And here's the crazy part. Each of these forms mimics a different distasteful species of butterfly. It's like a genetic Swiss Army knife of deception. And you never saturate the market. Tricky butterflies are predators themselves, and they can be tricked by their prey. Vines in the genus Passiflora, with their crazy-ass flowers, have developed toxins that keep most butterflies and caterpillars away. However, some butterflies have evolved an enzyme that can break this toxin down. So they just lay their eggs willy-nilly all over the Passiflora leaves. But when the little babies hatch, they have a tendency to be cannibalistic. So these butterflies will avoid laying their eggs near someone else's eggs. Some Passiflora vines take advantage of this. They appear to mimic butterfly eggs in a number of different ways. For example, little yellow spots on the leaves, or these little yellow polyps. All of this to deceive the butterfly and keep it moving along to the next plant. Mimicking the predator you're trying to avoid is called Gilbertian Mimicry, after Lawrence Gilbert, who's not dead, but based on the last two, I'd be worried. But no defense is foolproof, and so animals will often have a number of different ones, some of which only come into play at the very last moment before a predator strikes. The Amazon barcanole is very well hidden, but will flash a bright color when threatened. Butterflies, moths, and lanternflies play a metal version of peekaboo to the death, with giant eye spots that can startle or change the point of attack. Getting a predator to strike away from vital organs can be the difference between a shitty day and a very shitty day. The gray hairstreak butterfly has a false head on the tips of its wings. They often sit with that part pointing up, and they can even move their little false antennae. Better to be bit on the butt than dead. And then there's this little caterpillar who does that. You know you'd be freaked out if your food winked at you. In any case, you can see that if you live together for millions of years, it all devolves into an episode of Big Brother. Everyone's just lying to everyone, even the predators. They're mimics too. If there's a deception that you can think of, it probably exists. Like Rule 34. As Aristotle said, nature is a whore with a vacuum. Jerry, that's not right. No, see, it's nature abhors a vacuum. What?
David Willer has an amazing YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to right away. Thank you, David, for all the research and the time you spent sorting through footage. So, we're going to have to go subscribe to David Willer. Yes. We're going to have to. Okay. That was my reaction to True Facts, Deception in the Rainforest. And yes, these creatures have evolved. And I say creatures because I'm lumping them all into one, because there were several species that I can't remember the names of. But butterflies, moths, lizards, bugs, all of that. It's just amazing the way that nature works. So, you guys, go subscribe to ZFrank1 if you enjoyed this video. Also, go subscribe to David Willer. I'll leave links in the description box. Until next time, guys, peace. I'm out.